A volley of startled gasps rippled through the noonday stillness. Nobody had anticipated that a slight woman, modest in demeanor and stature, would command every ounce of attention on a shooting range governed by one of the most exacting judges in the state. Her name was Camille Rowan, and at that electric moment, she stood poised at the far left station, her rifle steady against her shoulder, exuding the kind of quiet composure that made sneers shrivel. Have you ever watched someone walk into a space where every glance silently declared, "You don't belong here," and then witnessed them transform that air of exclusion into undeniable respect? Camille found herself in that very situation, about to prove that real skill could pierce through even the thickest prejudice. The story of how Camille ended up at Judge Stanton Whitmore's exclusive shooting range had started several weeks prior, when a buzz rippled through local news outlets. Judge Whitmore, an imposing figure known for his austere rulings and unwavering impartiality, had announced a charity event to fund scholarships for young people seeking careers in law enforcement. The competition would be open, but competitive. Winners would not only earn mentorship in tactical firearms training, but the top scorer would receive a coveted spot in a prestigious demonstration at the state capitol, a rare chance to impress police chiefs and top brass from across the region. Naturally, the event attracted a flood of sharpshooters, veterans, and young professionals chasing public validation or a professional boost. Amid that crowd was Camille, whose registration drew sidelong glances from almost everyone. On the morning of the event, a low haze clung to the dusty range on the outskirts of town. Men in fitted tactical gear compared hardware and told stories from previous events. Others adjusted optics and laser sights on weapons that looked like they belonged in a film set. Camille, meanwhile, checked her basic equipment near the corner of a folding table. Her rifle was functional, unbranded, and clean. A few feet away, two muscular men in faded fatigues looked her way and chuckled. She might be better off in a self-defense workshop, one muttered. Camille didn't flinch. She continued checking the tension on her scope screws, blocking out the noise as she had learned to do long ago. When the event's coordinator called for participants to gather for orientation, Camille eased into the line. Surrounded by tall, broad-shouldered competitors, she looked like an afterthought. Judge Whitmore ascended a small riser near the flagpole, a crisp American flag fluttering faintly beside him. He cut an austere figure in a crisp white shirt, gray slacks, and a leather belt that hinted at old military habits. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his baritone voice magnified by a crackling microphone. "This competition is about control, clarity, and discipline. Ego has no place on my range. If you think you're untouchable, you may be in for a lesson." He outlined the event's structure. A preliminary round to eliminate weaker shooters, followed by a secondary phase requiring agility and precision under stress. The final round would occur the following morning. Each finalist granted just 2 bullets to hit 2 targets set at different ranges and angles. No second chances. Camille's pulse ticked faster. Just 2 shots to prove yourself. She recalled other competitions she had entered, small local meets where her reserved nature was overshadowed by louder, flashier competitors. She had earned her place with consistency, not flair. But never had the stakes been so compressed. The initial round began with standard stances, standing, kneeling, prone, firing at paper targets for 5 minutes. Camille found herself assigned next to a braggart named Tanner, who boasted loudly about his customized trigger and $1,000 barrel. "Hope recoil doesn't knock you off your feet, sweetheart," he sneered. She gave him a quiet nod, then ignored him. When the signal was given, a volley of rifle fire cracked through the air. Camille anchored her stance, took a breath, and fired. Her bullets carved clean, tight groupings. She shifted to kneeling, then prone, flowing through the motions with calm precision. She tuned out the chatter, the tension, the noise. There was only the target. When the ceasefire command echoed, Tanner glanced over, visibly surprised that she had hit anything at all. She said nothing. Range officials collected scores and retreated to tally the results. The leaderboard flickered to life. Tanner ranked high 4th. Camille scrolled down until she found her name, 12th. She exhaled deeply, still in the running. Judge Whitmore returned to the platform. "The next phase will test composure under dynamic conditions. Prepare to move. Half of you will be eliminated by sundown." He gestured toward an obstacle course assembled from old shipping containers, and makeshift barriers. Camille walked with purpose, her rifle cradled in her arms. The second round tested the ability to shoot accurately while navigating cover and responding to surprise targets. Camille had practiced this on her own in abandoned lots, ducking behind oil drums and machinery to replicate real scenarios. One by one, participants ran the course. Tanner charged through with showy theatrics, hitting every target in under half the allotted time. Spectators clapped. Then came Camille's name. At the buzzer, she darted forward, slipping behind the first barrier. A silhouette popped up. She dropped to one knee and fired. Hit. She pivoted and slid behind another crate. Another target appeared, half obscured. She inhaled, steadied her hand, and fired again. Hit. She kept going. Drop, pivot, shoot, move. At the end, she flung herself prone and fired a final shot at a long-range target. Her elbow scraped the mat. Her heart pounded. She cleared her weapon and stepped aside. Tanner shot her a puzzled look. Respect, though grudging, began to replace his arrogance. When the scores were posted, Camille had climbed to 10th place. It was enough. She'd survived the culling. The finalists, now trimmed to 15, were instructed to return the next morning for the two-shot finale. She packed her gear and walked to her car alone. That night, she barely slept. Images of bullet trajectories, recoil timing, and wind calculations replayed in her head. She arrived before dawn the next morning, face numb from the early chill. Judge Whitmore arrived at 7 a.m. sharp, flanked by news crews and photographers. Word had spread that someone unexpected was turning heads. He explained the rules. 2 bullets, 2 targets. Shot placement and timing were the only metrics. Rush and you'll miss. Delay too long and time penalties will cost you, he said. One by one, competitors took their turn. Some nailed both shots. Some didn't. One man, a retired SWAT trainer, hit both dead center in just under 10 seconds. His score vaulted to the top. Tanner followed, hitting the first target perfectly, grazing the second. Not bad, but not top tier either. Then, it was Camille's turn. She stepped to the line, loaded her 2 rounds. The judge gave the nod. She raised her rifle and locked onto the closer target, just 75 yards away, but partially hidden behind a metal shield. She let the crosshairs settle. Fired. The bullet punched cleanly near the center. Applause rose, subdued but impressed. She swung toward the second silhouette, distant, over 200 yards, partially obscured by tires. She inhaled, adjusted for a soft wind shift, and fired. Ping. The metallic ring echoed in the quiet morning. Direct hit. The scoreboard updated. Camille Rowan, 2nd place. Applause swelled, no longer polite, but celebratory. Judge Whitmore called her forward. Ms. Rowan, he said, your precision and composure are commendable. You've earned an invitation to demonstrate at the state capitol. Camille was stunned. Only the winner was promised that honor. Thank you, sir, she murmured. Skill speaks for itself, he replied. The crowd buzzed. Reporters clustered around her. One asked if she had anything to say to others who might feel out of place in such contests. She took a breath. Don't let anyone else define your limits. Train. Prepare. Let your results speak louder than doubt. Her performance was soon featured in local news and shooting magazines. Some tried to diminish her, claiming it was luck. Others celebrated her, a symbol of quiet excellence breaking through noise and bias. She ignored the cynics. Judge Whitmore's invitation meant she hadn't just competed. She had arrived. At the Capitol demonstration, in front of politicians, press, and law enforcement leaders, Camille stood steady beneath marble columns. The targets appeared. She hit both. Cheers erupted. Later, Judge Whitmore found her. Your story has already increased scholarship funding. But more importantly, you've inspired others. Back home, she resumed her day job at a security firm. Some days, a stranger asked her if she was that woman from the range. She'd nod, smile, and carry on. But within her community, a ripple had begun. More women registered for local events. More quiet underdogs dared to compete. And every now and then, someone would repeat the judge's words. Skill speaks for itself. Camille Rowan lived by them. 2 shots. No excuses. And a lifetime of preparation behind every pull of the trigger.